friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to have a really fun, easy little project that I got done late in the afternoon. You can see that it is starting to get dark. You can probably see into the house as the kids are getting ready for supper. But what I wanted to do today was just to dress up the two window boxes that are on the side of the house here along the driveway. This is a sweet little spot that I just love. This garden is a shade garden because of the house. The house gives this bed lots of shade. In the wintertime, it is even more shady than it is in the summer. So essentially in the wintertime, there is absolutely zero sun that hits in this spot. So I'm a little limited on what I can do in my window boxes. The first year I had my window boxes, I tried pansies, violas, kale, that kind of thing. It was an utter disaster just because it gets zero sun and it was just a slow death for them. So I have played with it for a couple of years, and what works really well is to use lots of beautiful greenery from our property. So that is what we did today. I did borrow some plants from the nursery to give me kind of my thriller aspect of the container, if you want to think about that. So these are two of the emerald green giant trees. Now these things will get massive. They can get like 20 to 30 feet tall. We have some just behind Jerry's shoulder that are ginormous. These are in 2 gallons, so they are nice and petite and very manageable. You've seen me use these in other containers before. So we just literally took the pot and put them into the window boxes. I got these window boxes or hay racks, whatever you want to call it, from Kinsman Garden Company. Have used them for years and they are great. This one is huge. It's like almost 5 feet wide. So I did 2 of the emerald greens in here, not emerald greens, green giants. I am sorry. These are green giants. Green giants are massive. And so they are in here as my thriller. And then we just went to the woods and clipped some great magnolia leaves from the trees that grow wild in our woods. This is the time of year where I only trim on them, right? So Christmas time, right? I come in and I clip them and they are great. The 2 downsides of these magnolias is that they have green undersides and they don't bloom. Some of our more iconic magnolias will have like a really dark brown underside. These do not, but that's okay because again, using them for this time of year, they're free, they're still magnolias, really pretty. And then I also use for a filler is cedar. So these are cedars, again, growing wild in our woods. Went in there and just trimmed, some nice branches, and I just stuck them in there. So it was really easy as far as like my method. I wanted my 2 heights to be even within the window box, and then come in there with the magnolias and just stick them in, use them as your fillers, and then the cedars, tuck them in last so that we don't have any holes and that we do not even see the black pots for these green giants. So this, I wanted the green giants to stick out more, keep everything else a little low. So this came out really well. And then y'all, gardening does not have to be complicated at all. This is a Chapel View Japanese cedar. I believe I got that right. Chapel View. Really nice, fun winter interest because it has that beautiful kind of coppery bronze brown, if you want to say, color to it. It is not dead. It is not dying. This is what this plant does in the winter time. If you're familiar with fire chiefs, very similar to a fire chief, but it brings me a different texture. It brings me some height. I keep this blue pot in this shade garden and I will have, summer annuals in it. And then I worked really hard, y'all. I took the container and it's still in its 3-gallon pot and I just lowered the soil level and then just plopped it in there. Boom, there you go. So it will do really nicely. It can stay here all winter if I want it to because it's very cold tolerant. It will get rained on. Perfectly fine to stay in here all winter. Lots of good interest. And then my last window box is here It's a little bit taller as far as like higher, and it's more of like a half moon shape. Basically the exact same plants, but you see that it has a little bit of a different look because, like I say, these are sisters that are identical twins. Still have the green giant, using the magnolias. The magnolias here were a little bit taller. That's okay, filling it in. And then with the cedars, I actually went between the, I don't know if we can, it's not going to show it because I did such a good job, but it is actually tucked in horizontally right between where we have the cocoa liner and then the metal rod of the basket. So it's tucked right in there, so it's nice and secure. They're not going to come out anywhere, but it just gives it a little bit of a different look. It's nice and drapey. I love how the cedars come out. These will stay for quite a long time. The thing I have learned though about both of these garden boxes is that I like to have them empty end of winter going into spring, and that is because I will have little wrens that come and make their nest in my window boxes. So if I leave foliage or if I leave any kind of plants in these hay racks, I have birds that come and make their nest, which is not a bad thing. Of course, we love having the birds, but they build their nest, and then before I know it, then there's eggs. And if there's eggs, well, then you have to leave the eggs, and then there's babies, so then you have to wait for the babies to grow up and fly the nest. And by the time that happens, the season has progressed quite rapidly, and I am behind on planting my hay racks. So I will completely remove everything out of these hay racks. That way the little wrens can go into all the acres of woods that are just right beside of us and not in my boxes. And that way I can plant at the appropriate time and everybody will be quite happy. Now, I know right now the shade garden is not looking primo. I have kind of kept up with this bed as the season has gone on. As plants have gone dormant, I have cleaned them up and pulled them out. Not pulled them out, but pulled the foliage out. For example, like this is Dre's Dagger. This is a perennial fern. So you can see that I have gone in and just pulled back any of that dead foliage, that old foliage. So what we need to do in this bed, oh, don't you love that? That is a euchera from Walter's Gardens. Oh gosh, what was the name? I love this plant. Let's see if I have, oh, I do. I have the tag right here. It is, oh yes, Smoke and Mirrors. I don't know if they ever released it. They sent it to me as a trial plant. I particularly absolutely love it. And then that is Evening Gown. That is a Proven Winners euchera. It's what I would say is like the improved version of a black pearl. Really nice. And then look at those beautiful spot on pulmonaria. We were down to 23 degrees this morning and they got a little limpy on me, but they're starting to perk back a little bit. And then sweet little Bashful Betty, that is a unique stone. My grandmother's name was Betty, so that is in honor of her. And then Annette's Holly Fern. It is not actually called Annette's Holly Fern, it's just a holly fern. But I brought this back from Texas from my sweet friend Annette. We went to go visit them in Waco and she had this massive clump of holly fern. And I said, can I please take some home? And she was like, of course. So this is Annette's Holly Fern. That is Jack of Diamonds, I believe, Brunnera, and doing, you know, hanging in there for the winter. And then the Lenten roses, I've got some, the hellebores, pink frost here that are blooming. They've got some nice sweet little buds on them that are starting to do their thing. Depends on where you are in the country as to when they will bloom. This one is not, it's nice and huge, but she's not quite blooming yet. Typically they will bloom around the season of Lent. That is why they're called Lenten roses, because it'll be late winter, early spring when they bloom. We have had tons and tons of rain, and I want Jerry to come back in here on this bed. It desperately needs to be re-edged because when we put down fresh grass seed this fall, you can see that I don't have a defined border. So basically my border is right here, and this is my flower bed. You know, when you push out the grass seed, inevitably some of it comes into your flower bed. So I want him to get the bed edger for me and re-edge, define this edge for me. I can then come in here and get all this cleaned up. But it's been so incredibly wet that it would make such a big, huge, hot mess. So once he comes in here and can re-edge it for me, I can get the weeds out on the front, then we'll come back and lay down that fresh layer of that compost pine bark fine mixture that we have, and that'll really kind of clean up this bed, put it to bed for the winter. Lamian is doing very nicely. This is just a great kind of a shade perennial and beautiful color to it, and I have it in front of those sweet little mushrooms. People always ask me if we have those mushrooms for sale. At the nursery we do not. I got this from a local potter that she makes them by hand, so those are from hers. And then the white by the gate camellia, she's doing well. She's covered in buds. This is a japonica, so it should bloom sometime late winter, early spring. Massive, huge white flowers on it. Should do really, really well. And then we've got 3 of these eucharis. These are, it's called Dale's strain. Jerry actually started these from seed many, many, many moons ago. And I am telling you what, it's about the best euchera we have. It has been the hardiest, biggest performer, does really well. So there are 3 of those clumps coming down right here. But yeah, I'm ready to get this bed kind of tidied up and put to bed for the winter. But again, there's a couple of little maintenance things that we need to do. That'll just happen, you know, in due time, and everything will be fine. But this is a really high traffic area because our driveway, of course, is right here, and we just see this spot all the time. But having these window boxes with something in them now makes me very happy. I did forget to do the container on the wall, so it does. It has the Feather Falls grass in it, but it could use a little greenery behind it to really make it pop. So maybe before the holidays and we have guests come over, I can get that done. But to have these 2 boxes done and that container, something at least plop down in there, makes me happy. It looks like a gardener lives here, and so that's a good thing. So it's getting dark. It is time for supper, time for afternoon coffee. We appreciate you. Hope y'all are having a great holiday season. Christmas is going to be here in just a few short days. Crazy to think about it. So again, we appreciate you. We love you. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.